Welcome to our third Abhidhamma class in the second cycle, in the second delivery of the series to the Abhidhamma introduction sessions or the Abhidhamma for beginners. As always, we have our esteemed teacher, Most Venerable Buluwala Ratanasiri Thero from the Millava Dharma Vijayarama temple in Sri Lanka. So I welcome all our listeners through our YouTube channel and welcome especially the listeners who have joined with us or who will be joining with us very soon in the Zoom session. So it's time to start our class. I invite Venerable Buluwala Ratanasiri Thero to take over.
Good afternoon. Let's start our Abhidhamma class now. We were discussing about the ultimate reality, consciousness. Consciousness, we categorized up to 4 sections depending on the ground where the travels or where the associate. In that way, karma vachara, sense sphere, and rupa vachara, fine material, and then arupa vachara, immaterial, lokottara, supra mandim. Since it's a consciousness, there are 54. We were discussing these 54 consciousness, synthesizing into 3 categories. Again, shall we pay our attention towards the subject matter of Abhidhamma that we are going to study. The 54 sense sphere consciousness have been synthesized in unwholesome 12 and unroot 18 and beautiful 24. You know, all these 54 consciousness, that is mind, chitta. Chitta, you know, chitta connects, the mind connects with Kamma, the doctrine of Kamma. Buddha said, Chetanaham Bhikkhave Kammam Vadami, Chetayitva Kammam Karoti, Kayena Vachaya Manasa. So, the doctrine of Kamma, this consciousness, 54 consciousness, play a good role in understanding the doctrine of Kamma. We'll try to understand how the Buddha explained the doctrine of Kamma, analyzing those 54 consciousness. When we consider about the doctrine of Kamma, in other religions during the time of the Buddha, other religions like Ajivakism, Jainism, and Vedic religions, they also discuss about this doctrine of karma. So the doctrine of karma is common for almost contemporary religions when the Buddha lived. So in Jainism, the doctrine of karma has been discussed in other way around. They believed they have to practice self-modifications or astral practices to cease their unwholesome results. When they gathered in their samsara, they have to experience the bad result of karma that they committed in their former life. To have salvation, they have to experience all those bad karma, bad effect. So they practice self-mortifications. Like in Kokkuravatiya Sutta, there is an explanation about how they practice those austerity. They behave, they began to stay to ascetics. They began to stay as a cow or as a goat, Kukkuravutta, they said. In that way, they believed they have to experience those bad karma result that they had committed in their former lives. So practicing or experiencing, after experience, they can cease those bad karma and they can enter their salvation. But the Buddha's attitude towards karma is quite different. In Abhidhamma, Buddha has explained to enter the ultimate goal in Buddhism, that is Nibbana, to be an Arahant, a person must cease his akusala karma and kusala karma. He has to abolish akusala karma and kusala karma, and after ceasing power of karma, he can enter into Nibbana, the ultimate goal. So in Abhidhamma, Buddha explained how to cease the power of karma. The power of karma, how to cease. When we consider about this consciousness, so consciousness connects with the doctrine of karma. On the other hand, when we think of that sensuous sphere, 54 sensuous sphere, this sensuous sphere connects with morality also. It connects with high morality, adichitta. We know Sila, Samadhi, Panya is the pathway towards Nibbana. So in this consciousness, ultimate reality, consciousness, it deals with high morality, seal. So there is ethical value also. There is ethical value. Understanding the function of the consciousness, people try to abstain from unwholesome activities and they perform wholesome activities and they gather merit and they develop their morality, the first state, seal. Then other consciousnesses, Rupavachara, fine material spheres, 15, and immaterial sphere consciousness, 12, they deal with meditation, samatha bhavana. So, Sila, Samadhi. They deal with concentration, Samadhi. How to develop concentration. And then Lokottara, 8 consciousness, Supramantin, 8 consciousness, and it deals with Panya, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. After developing concentration, he can develop insight meditation, vipassana, and he can achieve panya to understand nibbana to the 4 stages, so on, sakuddhagami, anagami, arihat. So that is the subject area of here the consciousness that we can understand here. Now, shall we study about the doctrine of karma, associating those 12 wholesome, 12 unwholesome consciousness. Now, when we commit unwholesome activity, that means 10-fold of unwholesome activities, when we commit, there arise those 12 unwholesome consciousness. When we consider about the 10-fold of unwholesome activities, panatipata, adinnadana, kamesi mitthācara, musavada, pisunavada, parusavada, sampappalapa, avidya, vyapada, vidya, ditti. Panatipata is killing beings. We'll take the first one, panatipata, killing beings. Killing being is unwholesome activity, it deal with karma and vipaka, karma and result. How can it be a karma and result, karma and consequences? To commit unwholesome panatipata, Buddha has explained the doer, the killer has to complete 5 conditions. There must be a being. First, there must be a being. Then the person who is going to kill the being, the person must understand the being. There is the being. This is the being that I want to kill. Then that person must have the consciousness. It is very important. The person must have a consciousness to do that action. So the karma is a volitional action. The volition is there, the consciousness. Now take the first consciousness in unwholesome consciousness. 12 unwholesome consciousness are categorized in Lobha Mulika, Dosa Mulika, and Moha Mulika. Rooted in greed. Rooted in greed, 8. Rooted in hatred, 2. Rooted in illusion, 2. Altogether, 12. Now, when a person is going to kill an animal, will suppose, now you know, there must be 4 conditions to kill bull. There must be a being, then the killer must understand it, identify the being, and there must be consciousness to kill the being, and then the doer must apply some strategies to kill the animal. Then after applying those strategies, he killed the animal. Then the karma and result vipaka completed there. Then now we'll take the first consciousness rooted in greed. There are 8 consciousness rooted in greed. Somanassa sahagata, ditthigata, sampayutta, asankarika, chitta. That is, Somanassa sahagata means the person do it with joy. Now think of that person who is going to kill the animal. He does it with joy. So at that moment, the consciousness arises in his mind, that is Somanassa Sahagata, because he does that activity with joy, with happiness. Then associated with wrongings. That means that that person thinks that killing animal is not a sin. not an unwholesome activity. Killing animal is not committing the unwholesome activity. Misconceptions, wrong use, bearing wrong use. He does not accept the Buddha's doctrine or teaching. He thinks that no harm to kill animals. Killing is no harmful thing. Like that, he thinks. Somanassa Sahagata Dittigata Sampayutta. Dittigata Sampayutta. With wrong views. Then Asankarika. Asankarika means he does it promptly, unprompted, without motivation, without enforcing. He does it spontaneously, unprompted. So when the person kills animal, completing all those conditions, there arise that the first consciousness rooted in greed, somanassa sahagata, dittigata, sampayutta, asankarika chitta. One consciousness accompanied by joy associated with wrong views. So this, if the person commit such unwholesome activity with this first consciousness, the result is more powerful. He has to repent this unwholesome activity he has committed. Now we'll come to the second one. Somanassa sahagata, dittigata sampayutta, sasankarika chitta. Only one change is there, asankarika, sasankarika. Asankarika, unprompted. Then sasankarika is prompted. That means that he does that killing activity with the enforcement. There is motivation. There is a person to compel him to do it. Maybe a powerful person. He orders him to do it. In that way, there is motivation, enforcement, compelling to do it. Then there arise this second consciousness, somanassa sahagata, dittigata sampayutta asankarika. He does it with joy, in happiness, and bearing wrong views, mityaditti. He thinks that committing animal is not a sin, with wrong views, but not spontaneously, but with motivation. There is enforcement. Then there arise the second consciousness. It also bear result, but it is less power than the first one. The first one is more powerful, the result, the effect. The first one is more powerful than the second one. Can you understand now the result of karma? Can you understand? the result of karma, how it came according to the consciousness and the situations, according to the attitude of the person. Then we'll come to the third one. Now think of the same activity, the killing animal. Somanassa sahagata, ditthigata, vippayutta. Again, there is one change. ditthigata vippayutta. ditthigata vippayutta asankarika. ditthigata vippayutta means without wrong views. He knows when person kills an animal, it is unwholesome activity, volitional activity. Then the result comes. It is a bad result. It gives pain, and like that. He has understood. He knows without wrong views. He is disassociating from wrong views. He knows the truth. He knows when kills animal, they get the result. We have to repent it. Somanassa sahagata again, ditthigata vippayutta asankarika. He does it spontaneously. Now in this condition, it is less powerful than the second one. In that way, the result, the power of result, effect, is leasing in that way. Now, fourth one, somanassa ditthigata vippayutta sasankarika. Again, there is motivation, there is enforcement in that way. Then the fifth one, upekka sahagata, ditthigata ditthigata sampayutta asankarika. Upeksha means he commits that killing with equanimity. There is neither happiness nor worry. Upekka sahagata. Then in that way, the consciousness changed up to 8. You can understand now. Upekka sahagata ditthigata sampayutta asankarika. Then again, sixth one, upekka sahagata ditthigata sampayutta sasankarika. Asankarika becomes sasankarika. Then upekka sahagata ditthigata vippayutta asankarika. Then he does it with equanimity, and he does not believe in come and result, and he committed. Then eighth one also, last one, that upekka sahagata ditthigata vippayutta sasankarika. One consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Disassociated from wrong view prompted. Now this is the least powerful result. The result is not powerful. Sometimes there are some karma they do not bear a result. They are called ahosikam. They disappeared without giving a result because they are not more powerful. Sometimes it happens. There are, Buddha has emphasized in result in karma, ditta dhamma vedaniya karma, upapadya vedaniya karma, aparapari vedaniya karma, and ahosi karma. Ditta dhamma vedaniya karma means when the person commit unwholesome activity, he has to pay the result. He has to experience the result within this life, this time, this life, Ditta Dhamma Vedana. Then the Upapadya Vedaniya means that he has to experience the result in his next birth, second birth. Then Aparapari Vedaniya means from his third birth and up to that towards fourth, fifth, sixth, in that way. In any time, he has to pay the result or the bad effect. Then there are some certain karma that won't result, won't affect, won't give result. Those are called ahosi karma. Then in that way, we can analyze how this karma and result happen according to this analyzing of the consciousness. And then other consciousnesses rooted in hatred and rooted in delusion. When we commit unwholesome activity, so there must be causes. There must be three causes: greed, hatred, and delusion. Lobha, desha, moha. Now we'll take that domanassa sahagata, patika sampayutta, asankarika citta, and rooted in hatred. When person arise hatred in his mind, with hatred he commit unwholesome activity. Somanassa sahagata, patiga sampayutta. The patiga means there are some displeasure, there is conflict, or displeasure, disagreement there. One consciousness accompanied by displeasure, associated with aversion, patiga, aversion. It does not like it. There is hate and do it spontaneously, unprompted. Another one, prompted, domanassa sahagata, patiga sampayutta sasankarika. Domanassa means displeasure, without happy. He does it without happy. There is worry or displeasure in his mind. So associated with aversion, that is patiga, that is complete, he does not like it, aversion and prompted. That is rooted in hatred. Then rooted in delusion, there are two consciousness. They are upekka sahagata. Upekka sahagata vichikitta sampayutta chitta. Upekka sahagata mean again, there is either happiness nor worry in his mind. It is equanimity. No worry or no happiness in his mind. Upekka sahagata. Vichikitta sampayutta. Vichikitta means doubt, because root is delusion. Delusion means he has not understand. There is ignorance in him. So there is doubt in him. One consciousness accompanied by equanimity associated with doubt. Doubt means here he suspect about the Buddha's qualities, 9 qualities. He suspect, and he suspect the qualities of Dhamma, qualities of Sangha, and he suspect the former birth, and then the next birth, rebirth. He suspect whether there is rebirth, whether there was former birth. Both he suspect, former birth and next birth. And he suspect 3 point of training, the Tilakkana. Three siksha. He suspect 3 sikshas. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. That is the way towards Nibbana. He suspected. Can it be the pathway towards Nibbana? He suspect. Then he suspect dependent origination also. That is the doubt. So, rooted in delusion, person arise that consciousness, unwholesome consciousness, he does or he commit some unwholesome activities because of that doubt, and delusions. Then upekka sahagata uddatta sampayutta citta, accompanied by equanimity associated with restlessness. Uddatta means restlessness, no calm in his mind. And there is calamity in his mind because of delusion, ignorance. To avoid these delusions, what the person must do, he has to listen to the sermon. He has to discuss with the good teacher about the problems that he arises. He has to study Dhamma to avoid his delusions. He must associate a good teacher. he must listen to the Dhammadesana. He must engage in discussion of Dhamma to get rid of his delusions. So when person is in delusion, there arise those two kinds of consciousness. They are unwholesome consciousness. Due to those unwholesome consciousness, he commit various unwholesome activities, and he has to pay, experience the bad result within this birth or in next birth or any birth when he is going on samsara. That is how the Buddha explained how the karma and result come. Now, shall we discuss about the other consciousness, rootless, non-root consciousness. There are 18 non-root consciousness. Now you know these 54 divided into 3. Sorry, yes, into 3. Unwholesome 12, non-root, unwholesome 12, non-root, unwholesome 12, non-root 18, and functional 3, unwholesome resultant. Then that 18 rootless consciousness, we divided into 3 unwholesome resultant 7, wholesome resultant 8, functional 3. Unwholesome resultant, wholesome resultant, functional resultant. So these 18 consciousness are rootless consciousness because they do not associate greed, they do not associate greed and hatred and delusion. So they are called non-root consciousness. Now we'll take these non-root, unwholesome resultant consciousness. They are result. They arise as the result for unwholesome karma. Unwholesome karma. Upekka sahagata chakku viññāni. That is one consciousness. Upekka sahagata chakku viññāni. Eye consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Upekka sahagata means equanimity. Accompanied by equanimity. Eye consciousness. Now that consciousness arises in eye. Then upekka sahagata sota viññāni. Ear consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Upekka sahagata gāna viññāni. Upekka sahagata gāna viññāni. nose consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Upekkha sahagata jivha vinyana. Tongue consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Dukkha sahagata kaya vinyana. Dukkha sahagata accompanied by pain, suffering, pain. Dukkha sahagata. Kaya vinyani, body consciousness. Then Upekka sahagata sampatikkana chitta. Upekka sahagata sampatikkana vinyana. Receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity, that is receiving sampatikkana, welcoming, accepting, receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Then investigating consciousness, upekka sahagata santirana chitta. Investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Those are the result. This consciousness arises in those 5 doors. What are the doors? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. In 5 doors, this consciousness arises due to the result of karma, former karma that he committed. But this result, they are not more powerful. Now, think of the first one, eye consciousness accompanied by equanimity. When you live in the society, you see some object, then there is sensitive place in eye called chakkupasada. Sensitive place in eye, chakkupasada. It is the door of where it arrives the consciousness. Eye door, eye sensitivity. When the person finds figure or the matter, rupa, then consciousness arises in the sensitive place of eye, and there figure, the rupa, it connects with consciousness at the door of eye, and there arise eye consciousness. How that it arises, eye consciousness, called chakku vinyana. After arising that eye consciousness, the person can see that object. It happens due to the, as a karma result. It's a karma resultant action. Eye contact, passa, contact. So now this is very important because in result in karma, to have the result of the karma vipaka, to get karma vipaka, the result, there must be a stimuli from outside. There must be some motivation in outside, that is first contact. Outside there is a figure. If the person does not meet that figure, that result won't happen. So to become the result of the karma, to have the karma vipaka here, there must be a stimuli or the motivation outside the society environment. So now you can understand how the karma vipaka comes to the person. It is not predetermined. There is no determinism in karma vipaka. It is conditions. To bear result, there must be complete some conditions. There must be here, now there must be contact outside, stimuli must be there. So figure, it contact, and there in the sensitive place, then the conscious associate combines it, and they are create I consciousness. After generating I consciousness, the person can see. Now think of that when you going on a journey. When you going on a journey, traveling by a train or by bus or somewhere, you are traveling, and you suddenly you see a statue of Buddha. Then what happens? There are that combinations happen at once. I consciousness arises, and there you create some happiness in your mind. But here this is akusala. Now, when you traveling on journey, you see sometimes accident on the road. Suddenly you see. Then you feel sad, and that is the result of the karma of the former that you have done. So there must be contact or the stimuli to bear the result of the karma. In this case, the Buddha explained, karma vipaka is not determined. It's not a determined thing. There is no determinism in karma vipaka. According to the situations, according to the conditions, the result arises. Now here, there must be the external stimuli. Here also same. When you go on a journey, now you happen to hear a terrible sound. Then what happens? You get here. You shrink your body. It may be the result of the unwholesome activity that you had committed. Ear consciousness, nose consciousness, and tongue consciousness also same. And tongue consciousness. Now you want to have a tasty food, but you you are to eat untasty foods. And such things happen. That is the nature of the bearing result of karma. The body consciousness accompanied by pain, because this is the resultant consciousness, unwholesome resultant consciousness. Body consciousness accompanied by pain. And now uh, you have pain in your body. So you suppose now you go on the road and your foot or your toe hit with a stone, and there blood come and there is injury and there is pain. So there is external stimuli there to experience the result of the karma. Now you know the Buddha, Devadatta, he injured the Buddha. It happened due to the result of the former unwholesome activities done by the Buddha. So in this way, we can understand result, karma result is not determined, no determinism is there. It is conditioned. We have to fulfill some conditions to bear result of karma. Now, receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Yes, receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Receiving means you expect or you welcome some ideas to your mind. It may be unwholesome ideas. You receive them. Then there arises some pain or worry in your mind, receiving. When you think of the unwholesome activity done by you in past, sometimes you feel some pain in your mind. There may be some repentance in that way. Then the investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Sometimes you have to think an idea over and over again, investigate. You penetrate that the unwholesome activity done by you in past, and you remember it sometime. Suppose now you couldn't perform your duty to your father or your mother. Then you investigate that unwholesome activities that you committed in your past. And then there may be arise some repentance there. So such thing happens. This is now this seven unwholesome resultant consciousness, it arises due to as the result of the unwholesome activities done by you in your former life or in this life. That will. Then there are 8 wholesome resultant consciousness. Yes, 8 wholesome consciousness. They are the result. These consciousness arise as the result of the wholesome activity done by you. Wholesome activity. Now see, I consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Upekka sahagata and chakku vinyani. I consciousness accompanied by equanimity. Then this is the wholesome resultant. Again, when you see now, when you go on a journey, you can see some meritorious activities, the people who are engaging in a meritorious activity, you see. Sometimes you stop and you participate in that meritorious activity. Such things happen. So you see that meritorious activities, you can join it. So you stop your journey for a while and you engage in that meritorious activity. It happens, I consciousness accompanied by equanimity. You happen to see that object, figure, rupa, then there contact. If you did not see that activity, you go on your journey without stopping, without engaging that meritorious deed. But there happened contact. That is due to the result, wholesome result. Contact was there outside in the environment, stimuli is there in the environment, then there contact, hasa is there, then eye consciousness, then you, because of that, you commit that wholesome activity. Such thing happens due to the result of karma. So you have to live in a suitable area with ventilation, with pure water, and with persons who are virtuous persons are there. Such environment you have to live, because patirupa desha vasocha ubbeka kata punyata, the Buddha said in Mangala Sutta. Because of doing meritorious activities, you can live a suitable place due to the result of that meritorious deed. In that way, these 5 doors: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. 5 doors create the result because of the stimuli from the outside. Then fifth one, take the fifth one, body consciousness accompanied by pleasure. The former one is accompanied by pain. Now here, body consciousness accompanied by pleasure, because this pleasure comes as the result of the wholesome. So if you feel healthy, fitness to your body, if you are a healthy person, then that is the result of your former wholesome activities, body consciousness accompanied by pleasure. Then receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity. When you welcoming the ideas, you receive ideas, the good ideas. Sometimes that idea may decide the future of your life. Now you, in your education or in your marriage or anything that you get some ideas, receive some ideas. So that ideas may be the good for you, because they arise due to the wholesome activities. Receiving consciousness accompanied by equanimity. So you take the ideas into your mind that are good for your future. Then investigating. The way that you investigate, you think of those ideas over and over, and you understand them, and you try to act according to that idea. Investigating consciousness accompanied by joy. Somanassa Sahagata. Somanassa Sahagata Sampati. Somanassa Sahagata Sampatitan. Investigating consciousness accompanied by joy. Again, Somanassa Sahagata Santirina Chitta. Then another one is investigating consciousness accompanied equanimity. Again, you investigate the idea without joy. There is no either joy or worry. Equanimity, neutral. Investigate and consciousness accompanied equanimity. You think of that idea with equanimity, without joy or without pain or worry. You think of that and you get some decisions. And those are the result to wholesome activities. Now, this result are not powerful because the non-root. Non-root means there are no greed, hatred, and illusion. So these results, they are not powerful. Sometimes that maybe becomes ahosikam without getting result. It may be, it won't result. It won't affect, because they are not more powerful result. Then there are another three consciousnesses. These are called functionals. Functional means they are not the result. These consciousness arise not to the result of the karma. They arise. Five sense, though adverting consciousness accompanied by equanimity. උපේක්ඛා සහගත පංචද්වාරා වර්ධන චිත්ත. උපේක්ඛා සහගත පංචද්වාරා වර්ධන චිත්ත. උපේක්ඛා සහගත means equanimity, accompanied by equanimity. You know what is equanimity. Five sense door, adverting five sense door. You know five sense door. And there is sensitive place. That is the door, eye door. In that way, nose, tongue, body, five sense door. Adverting consciousness accompanied by equanimity. This is in Arahant, you know, Arahant, when they live in the society, they contact with objects outside, then there arise the consciousness. But that consciousness is different. Now here, the five sense door, adverting consciousness. Manodvara vajjana chitta means without contacting in the doors of the five sense, this contact happen inside the mind. That is called manodvara. In Arahant mind, such thing happens when they respond with the objects of outside, sound or figure or fragrance, tangible object or so on. The such thing happens because they don't create any attachment there. No agreement or disagreement, attachment. Now, some normal person, if they look at the picture, there is attachment there arise because of craving. Because of craving, there is attachment. Or because of anger, there is separating, fatigue, or separating or attachment there with the object outside. The normal person like us, we contact with the object outside because of our craving, and there is attachment arise. But in Arahant, they don't create attachments. So they memorize, but there is no attachment or there is no agreement or disagreement. Such thing happens when Arahant live. After being Arahant, they have to live in the society. How they live in the society? Five sense door adverting consciousness accompanied by equanimity. They advert the contact, they manipulate, they manage, they control those consciousness without attachments. Then mind or adverting consciousness. Again, the bhavanga chitta. Again, the how to advert or manage their consciousness arise without attaching, without having desire, without having displeasure. Then third one, smile producing consciousness accompanied by joy. That's also happens in Arahant. Uh, that is called in Pali Somanasagata Hasitutpadicitta. Hasita means smile. Smile producing consciousness accompanied by joy. Somanasagata Hasitutpadicitta. Arahant, like Buddha, they how they produce smile. The way that they produce smile, that when they produce smile, only they open their lips like it's a special way. That consciousness is called the smile producing consciousness. Sometime we have heard the Buddha smile in certain places or towards certain incidents or to certain persons. Buddha produce smile. At that time, he arise that consciousness. There is no craving, no attachment, no hitting the other person. That is only producing the smile. It is accompanied by joy. Joy means not the joy that we mean. There is no unhappy. It's joy. Smile producing consciousness accompanied by joy. So how in that way, how Arahant now they experiences the society, how they experiences their arahanships. Now, in this three consciousness, explain how arahant experiences their arahanships after attained into arahant, and they have to live in the society. Attaining arahant means cessation of defilements. Cessation of defilement. So he has ceased all defilements in his mind, having pure mind, but he have to live in the society. He has to move in the society. Buddha lived 45 years in the society, associating every person, every kind of persons associating. That's how they associate those, when they associate those persons, such are the consciousness they arise. So the Abhidhamma is explained the doctrine of karma in this way. I think the time is up now. Shall I stop my Abhidhamma class with this? Blessing of the triple gems is showered upon you. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Much merit to you, Venerable Sir. Do we have any questions that you would like to present to Bhante right now? You can unmute your microphone and speak, or you can send a question on chat or the Google form. We have just about 10 minutes to end the session.
Thank you, Bhante, for giving us such a discourse. Thank you, madam. I have one question regarding which book we should refer for the Abhidhamma.
Books in English or in what language?
Yes.
In English? You mean?
Yes, Bhante. Yes, Bhante.
In English, there is a book called Comprehensive Abhidhamma by Bhikkhu Bodhi. There is a book I know. You can read that book. Then there are two books written by Jnanaponitera. I have forgotten the name here. Very few books are there in English.
Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to share some of the books that I have. I have the collection. This is very simple, simply explained Abhidhamma, starting from school age. We have a collection that is published by the YMBA in Sri Lanka, and it says it starts from book 1 and will go all the way up to book 6. So but you will have to order them online. The books are, in a sense, part of it is the normal Dhamma, and then a section on Abhidhamma. And most of what we discussed in these classes, I have found them in the form of lists and short descriptions in those books. So if you search for the Dhamma and Abhidhamma books by YMB, published by the YMBA in Sri Lanka, you might be able to find where you can order them. But the other book, that Venerable Sir just mentioned, the book by Bhikkhu Bodhi, it is freely available on the internet, and I have seen it. And I have not seen the German bhikkhus, Jnanaponika Thero's book, but I have read a couple of other, I have a couple of other books based on mindfulness, and then the Satipatthana Sutta, but I'll see if I can search for Jnanaponika Thero's book as well. And if that is the case, I can share the lists of these books on our usual media channels.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. But I have the difficulty in understanding the words that is that is written in the books. So majorly, I have so many books, but when I read 2 or 3 pages, then my understanding is not clear. That's why I am asking if the language of the books is in a nature language, so we can understand.
That is a very common sentiment, I think, for many of us, trying to understand Abhidhamma through books. In one sense, the Pali that it was originally written in Pali, and then we do have the entire Abhidhamma translated into a Sinhala language in our country, but even then it can be quite dry and difficult to understand. But when we have a conversation with an expert and when they give or cross-refer with give cross-references to the suttas and examples, then it becomes much clearer. And then afterwards, you can always go back and read this. And even the book that I'm looking at right now, the book 1 in Abhidhamma, with short passages and lists. So it's just quite a lot of but there are some illustrations to make us understand. So it might be worthwhile if you want to check those books. But I understand maybe in the United States, they have started some explanations on the Abhidhamma. Again, you will have to do some searching over the internet to find out. If I do find them out, I will share them.
Thank you, ma'am. Second question is, can you differentiate between the formless and supermundane consciousness?
The supramundane.
Arupa and yes.
Supramundane and
Arupa.
Arupavachara. Okay, over to you, Reverend Sir. Arupavachara or immaterial consciousness, and then supramundane or lokottara consciousness. What is the difference?
Immaterial consciousness, Arupavachara. Arupavachara, there are 12 consciousness. Akasanan chayatana, Vinyanan chayatana, Akinchanyayatana, Neosanya, Nasanyayatana. That is, you developed your consciousness to be born in immaterial Brahmaloka. When you develop those jhana, absorptions, after developing those absorptions, when you dies, you will be born. You are to be born in immaterial Brahmaloka. Then supramundane consciousness means there are 8 in number. After practicing the middle pathway, that is Sila, Samadhi, Panya, and then you practice your inside Vipassana meditation, and you understand impermanence, non-soul and suffering, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatma, and you understand, and you understand the Four Noble Truths, unsatisfactory suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the way towards the Nibbana or the cessation of suffering. And you abolished your 10 fetters that you keep on in samsara. You break 10 fetters, attaining sovan. When you attain sovan, then there arise sotapatti magga citta. Sotapatti, anagami magga citta, sakurdagami magga citta, anagami magga citta, arahat magga citta. Then sovan phala citta, Sakuddagami Palachitta, Anagami Palachitta, Arihat Palachitta. Those are the 8 supramundane consciousness. When the noble person, after practicing all those meditations and understanding the Tilakkana and Four Noble Truth, they attain to Sovan and Sakuddagami, Anagami, Arihat. When he arrives those stages, there arises the supra-mundane consciousness. They transcend this world, universe, that is called Lokottara. Those are the supra-mundane consciousness. When noble persons attain to these 4 stages, there arise those 8 supramundane consciousness.
Bhante, thank you. Nibbana is one part of a supramundane, or it is other than this?
No, now if you developed supra-mundane consciousness in 4 stages, then after Arahant Magga and Phala, you enter into Sovan. Not Sovan, into Arahat. If you stop in the Sovan state, then you have to be in samsara again. When you developed up to that Arahant Magga and Phala, you attained Nibbana. You become Arahant.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you to all our listeners. Just to clarify that last question and answer. Once we have achieved the final stages of consciousnnesses, then we are said to have reached Nirvana. Right, Reverend sir?
Yes.
Okay. So after achieving Nirvana, if we are alive, we would be experiencing those consciousnesses.
Yeah.
All right. I hope it was clarified properly. If not, you can keep asking questions, and we will definitely return next Saturday same time to continue with the Abhidhamma lesson. So much merit to all our listeners. Thank you for your time and being here and contributing by asking your questions. Much merit to you, Reverend Sir. So we will end today's session at this point. I'll close the meeting now, Reverend Sir.
Okay.